So one of the biggest barriers for people in addiction is getting into treatment. Not so much getting into treatment, but how do I pay my bills if I go to treatment, right? For me personally, I lived in addiction for about 20 years because I didn't think I could afford to go to treatment. Then eventually I was with a union. The union paid the bill, but then the mind game I'd play with myself is, how do I pay my bills while I'm in treatment? Fact of the matter is, you can't afford not to go to treatment if you have substance use disorder, because things are going to come crashing down eventually, or you're just living in a stuck state where you're really not thriving as your higher self, right? So what I did was I went and I spoke to a union representative. They got me in touch with a counselor. The counselor got me in touch with a doctor. I signed a medical EI form. I took time off of work. I didn't tell my employer what my medical condition was because really it's none of their business. But I left for 90 days. I came back and my employer was happy to have me back. Now, by BC law, they're actually obligated to take me back as long as they still have work if I have a medical reason for leaving. And substance use disorder is a medical reason. And when I came back to work, I was a much more effective employee. I was showing up all the time, ready to go, easier to deal with. You know, I wasn't angry at people because I wasn't getting my source of relief. And yeah, that's just how I went from work to treatment, back to work, and not having to worry about how am I going to be able to afford rent, how am I going to be able to afford my phone bill, how am I going to be able to afford anything. Hope that helps.